moepork here with another Omen guide. In this video we'll be going over tips and strategies you can use to bolster your bind gameplay. A lot of these videos will be theoretical situations demonstrated using an empty custom game, however most, if not all, of the concepts shown in this video have been used in my climb to Radiant. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Starting off on attack, there are a few default smokes to choose from. Defaults in this case are less for misleading your opponent of your possible location and more used to take control of certain areas on the map or block off certain angles in order to make certain plays. A common smoke to use is the U-Haul or lamp smoke. This location allows you to focus more attention towards the main site. By placing a gap in front of the wall on the right, you can use this to make a blind TP play. The reason for leaving a gap here is to help protect against players that lurk in the smoke, where they'll be close enough to see you teleporting inside otherwise. If the opponent likes to push down A short often, this smoke that lands in the choke next to the double box is great for cutting the enemy off from supporting one another and allow you to focus on the player that pushes into cubby. If you want an easy time taking control of showers, you can use this one-way smoke that lands inside this corner. You can also claim an easy orb when supported by another teammate. Remember to let the smoke expire before going into line of sight of the next corner, as this will become a one-way for the opponent at that angle. The smoke at the end of B long is a useful smoke to aid in taking control of this area before an execute. Over on the A site, there are two sets of smokes that usually happen. You have the site and truck smokes where you create a wall. The truck smoke is used to block off heaven and limit the area in which opponents are playing on top of the truck. Then you have the site smokes where you block off in between the truck and the triple box and in between bench and triple box. Towards the B site, there are two variations that most people use. Blocking off both the left and the right side of the tube is solid, and the main goal is to take control of elbow while planting. Blocking off the right side of the tube, and elbow instead focuses more on taking control over towards the back of site. For attack teleports, over on the A site, we have the classic U-Haul teleport. This usually is accompanied by a blind beforehand in order to make space for yourself against opponents playing there. While your opponent may not hear the teleport, other enemies playing on A will, and is not a foolproof plan to surprise your opponent. The point of this play is to take space and create a lot of pressure for your opponent on the A site. This can also be used in combination with the smoke as mentioned previously. When throwing in fake teleports, you can use this as a default to create pressure towards the A site as a lurker. When executing the truck smoke, you can use this timing to teleport on top of the U-Haul wall and eventually jump to the truck from here and usually catch some players off guard. Be sure that the corner outside of U-Haul is clear before doing so. After your team takes control of the site and are playing for post-plant, teleporting to A heaven early is a strong idea to catch rotators early. If desired and if there's enough time, you can accompany it with a one-way that allows you to see incoming opponents for free. Over towards the B site, when playing from hookah, you can often use your teleport to enter site without an elbow player seeing by teleporting to this corner here. Be sure that your team has control of B long and cubby is clear before attempting. Teleporting on top of this ridge or these boxes here create a great off angle against rotators coming from CT spawn while executing or in a post-plant situation. In certain situations, when playing from B long and you are using an elbow smoke, you can infiltrate using a teleport from octagon without being seen from sight. For added safety, accompanying with a blind is also a good idea. However, being wary of smoke lurkers is still necessary. As a bonus gimmick, if you are using the triple box one way against a player that likes to play behind that area, you can use that smoke to teleport into from showers and then teleport again to heaven if you know nobody plays there. Moving on to attacking blind angles, over on the A site we have a blind that goes into U-Haul. This allows you to create teleport plays as stated previously and alleviates some pressure off that area as your team is pushing in to take control. This angle from showers area covers opponents playing from bench and the cubby under heaven. When taking control of the heaven area for post plants, using a blind from here covers most of the entire hallway from CT spawn, netting you easy kills when you're set up. Over towards the B site, using your blind to cover all of hookah is a solid staple. If you know your opponent will be playing ultra close with shotguns, your opponent will still be able to see players peeking with it. It's usually better to clear those angles with mollies or other zoning tools. This angle from B long covers opponents playing from close left and elbow. You can shoot blinds that cover the entire left or right side of the site and force players to sit inside the tube as you take control of the high ground. Moving on to attack ultimates, over on the A site, the classic Heaven ultimate is a solid staple. Appearing up here as your team is pushing onto the site with proper timing is a great way to pinch your opponent from both sides simultaneously, all while being able to control rotators at the same time. Over on the B site, using an ultimate into elbow as your team is executing is also a useful one, especially when accompanied by a blind.
U-Haul, U-Haul, U-Haul.
Another one that can be useful is directly in the back of sight in the corner. While opponents are blinded and your team is pushing in, this one can often get a good pinch on the B site defenders. One of my favorite metagame ultimates to use is the spawn ultimate. Usually I'll use this ultimate after a pick has already happened on the A or B site and my team is showing execute presence. It can be useful when you try to time your ultimate in the very back as shown here, where rotators will be just barely out of the sound range. The idea is to catch them while they assume that you are not in their spawn due to not hearing you. This timing window can be very tight. Moving over to defense, let's start on the A site. A solid staple to use over here is the one-way smoke that hangs on top of the double box towards short. This can be played from pocket as well as anywhere near default site, and even from heaven. Sova makes playing this location incredibly difficult as his drone will mostly just counter you, but you can still slow your opponent's pushes if you don't get tagged by the dart. Remember to adjust your positions accordingly. Playing from the U-Haul area allows you to be in range to assist B long with smokes if necessary, as well as set yourself up for some nasty blind angles against pushes coming from short. You can use your teleport to reposition between this location of pocket if playing around a one-way. Omen is very good at taking control of showers early on due to being able to smoke off the entrance, and if necessary, a very strong angle to abuse a blind. Starting off the round with a smoke to assist in getting a teammate the ultimate orb is fairly low risk. You can also abuse many vertical angles from many different locations, such as on top of truck and on top of double box and pocket, the high ground outside of showers, and riskier positions such as on top of the triple box and in front of U-Haul. For an aggressive tactic, Omen can walk up towards the cubby and gain an off angle to peek this location or wait for an opponent to peek into you from the right side. After landing a kill, you can escape safely by jumping towards the corner while teleporting to avoid being traded. A bonus tactic you can use is to bait a jet using an operator performing this same tactic. After you hear the op shot, you can teleport deep into the corner as the jet is dashing out. The jet serves as a distraction, but also the op shot masks the teleport noise and can often net you some free multi-kills with added patience.
Shoot!
When retaking the A site, smoking off the choke at short is a solid staple, allowing you and your team to focus on clearing areas such as bench, showers, and site, before pushing onto short for a defuse attempt. You have powerful blind angles to set up teammates to rush into U-Haul as well as A short. Moving towards the B site, there is not as many useful one-ways over on this side of the map, so I would recommend to focus on using strong smoke locations to stall or retake with. Smoking this location at the edge of hookah where your opponents are threatening a B push is a solid staple. Depending on precisely where you place the smoke, you can bait opponents to trying to peek over the smoke by jumping on top of this box while you're ready and waiting. You can even place the smoke slightly more forward to allow yourself extra hiding power by playing under hookah, if your opponents like to play fast and jump out of hookah while bombarding the site with flashes and other utility often. Using a smoke towards the end of B long allows you or your teammates to gain an easy ultimate orb. This angle here sets your teammates up for a very powerful blind angle that covers the entire hallway with no escape for the opponent as they are getting closer to the corner. For a solo variant of this tactic, you can jump peek the corner for more information and then time your blind when you think the opponent is about halfway up the hallway. Smoking the octagon area and playing from this vertical angle is powerful against players jumping out of hookah, as most opponents are not going to be pre-aiming this vertical position while jumping out. Be careful of flashes and be quick to react to them or this tactic will not work. When retaking the B site, a smoke into hookah allows your teammates to cross into the back of site. If you suspect your opponents to be playing closer, you can also choose this location instead, which covers cubby and the left side of the tube. This blind angle here covers part of the tube, deep into the corner, and a common plant spot. You can use a teleport into the back of site with this blind to surprise a lot of opponents. A useful ultimate for retakes is this location towards the fountain area of B long. Most of the time there will be no opponents in sound range as they are executing onto the B site, and allows you to quickly add pressure from the flank. If your opponent is playing Phoenix and likes to use his ultimate from B long, it's also a good way to get a free kill on that player as his ultimate expires. A bonus tactic you can use at the start of the round is the unique ability to teleport into the portal outside of hookah. If you have a teammate playing on A site that can open the door by throwing an ability through at the start of the round, you can teleport from hookah and lurk inside the portal to gain information or free kills on unsuspecting opponents pushing into hookah. For added effectiveness, you can have a teammate assist in masking the play by spamming a vandal at the start of the round using the wallbang spot into market. Omen has the unique ability to abuse the bind portals by using fakes. If you time your teleport before you enter the portal, you will appear back at the original location, which can cause a lot of confusion. If your opponent is catching on, you can do a double fake by teleporting after you take the portal. The idea behind this is that your opponent will hear an Omen teleport noise inside the portal, so they assume you faked, until you decide to open the door and start shooting towards their backs. You also have powerful blind opportunities to use out of the portal if so desired. The possibilities are endless with the mind games you can play around the portals. Here's an example playing from the B site after the enemy Cypher uses his ultimate.
30 seconds left. come out B.
Nah, they're dumbass.
You can even use your ultimate as a tactic for using the teleporters. For example, if your opponent likes to rotate a lot using portals and is currently making presence on the B site, and they know you play from A site, you can use your ultimate to place yourself into the showers portal, expecting them to take the portal afterwards due to making them think that you used your ultimate to rotate to the B site. That about wraps up this guide. Hope this bolsters your bind gameplay. If this video helped, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Join the Discord, where you can interact with fellow pork enthusiasts. I also have a section in the Discord where you can ask Valorant questions that might be answered in future video content. Links in the description below. Once again, this is moepork. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you next time.
Oh.